Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner and Richard. And today we're talking about cloud confessions, disasters, and comebacks. Worst ever cloud-related mistake.
The question I guess we want to start with is which cloud?
Yeah,
Because you have
many,
dealt with several.
yes, and you've made many mistakes.
And I've made many mistakes. So I got one or two good stories in mind that I could share.
Yeah, I mean, we've been around long enough to have made a few mistakes in the cloud.
Yes.
So yeah, go for it, Rich. What springs to mind?
So several years ago, we built a cloud-like solution for a customer, and it was very large, had many production databases running on it. And when I say several years ago, I mean leading into the time of COVID. And I got hit quite badly with COVID.
Yes, you did.
And when I was no longer physically ill, I came back to work, and I was working remotely, and someone asked me to please assist them with something on one of their production databases. And I went to reboot that database. However, the button just below reboot was remove.
Yes, I remember this actually.
Yes, and it was,
unfortunately,
it was quite unfortunate. And so, as you could probably have guessed, I clicked the wrong button in my COVID brain state and removed it. Now, very fortunately, because our other sort of, I want to say, pedigree in our business is platform and infrastructure, I knew how everything behind the scenes works. I could very quickly recover that database.
Yes.
And managed to then bring that back. But that was, shall we say, pretty unpleasant couple of minutes.
Correct. But you managed to rescue it.
Did.
And we did give feedback to the UX designers around putting reboot and
we did ask that you move in and add a little bit of a confirmation button as well.
Exactly.
That did. So that was good feedback to them.
Yeah.
And fortunately, because of the recovery time and the time I did it, which was in a change window, I did manage to, I wasn't in that much trouble because we tried to only make changes and change windows.
Yes.
And then on the other side, what was nice was that particular platform that we built became the sort of the genesis architecture of what we've now established for ourselves. So those kinds of recovery tools we have established for ourselves to be able to do platform recovery and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we really know our kit very well behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
So to be able to do that kind of rapid recovery is something that we strive for across all our cloud services.
I mean, and that's the thing, right? We've with OCS, when we build it out and we architect for resiliency. We rely on enterprise technologies because mistakes happen, mishaps happen, right? It's not a human error happens. So we have to design with those things in mind. And it happens to the best of us. There's no getting around that other than, understanding that that's a risk and then architecting it. So as you say, Rich, the lessons learned, the belts and braces that we used, then already is still kind of core philosophy in which we design and which we use OCS with. So absolutely, that's a good one. I haven't done things technically on the cloud in a long time because I'm not really that technical anymore. But mistakes. I think one of the big ones is underestimating networking.
Yeah.
In the cloud and how absolutely convoluted it can get. And I think if I think back over the last 5 years, what area did I underestimate the most when it comes to making sure that our services are running properly and that we're able to scale and really bring those things to it was the network area. I think we learned quite a few good lessons out of that. And probably for me personally, the biggest oversight was underestimating that. But we managed to fix it, and we managed to.
That was, I guess, the recovery part of the question. Is we've gone from a handful of switches to tens, 20s, 30, 40, network. 50 switches across our estate now. Distributed across multiple DCs. But in the beginning we had like I said, we had a handful, and with certain expectations of how they would behave and how they would work. And a combination of new requirements, obviously
Exactly.
changing what was required from them, and sometimes unexpected things, external and even internal, could cause issues. So we went through a phase where we did a huge rework. What about a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Massive.
Took us 9 months, basically.
Took 9 months to do a massive transition to a much bigger, more
resilient,
more distributed network.
Yeah.
Separating various traffic types to make sure that those kinds of things don't hit us again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big lesson.
It was a big lesson, and we learned it, and we continue to improve on these, and yeah. So experience is the best teacher, and that's what we have been doing with OCS as well, is leaning into our experiences and making sure that we fix them.
Right. I mean, that's probably also one thing worth mentioning. We very much learn from experience, like I think most people do. But we've actually been running our cloud a long time. Most of it internally or to very specific customers. So we've actually been building and learning and doing for longer than one might
presume. Just because you know about OCS now doesn't mean we haven't been working on this stuff for a long time.
We've been doing it a long time. And very early on, we were one of our first customers to make sure that we were bumping our heads. So our DevOps team is probably one of the very first customers to the offsite cloud.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's all part of incubating. So, I mean, DevOps side of things, mishaps or disasters.
DevOps mishaps, there's plenty. Plenty. DevOps, that's the one beautiful thing about DevOps is you're always changing stuff. You know, the biggest cause of an outage is a change, I think.
Yeah.
And in DevOps, that's literally the intent, is to continually, rapidly develop, maintain change, and those changes cause issues. And across the stack. So one of the things that we have, again, in our estate or in our DevOps team, is we've run and manage our own internal GitLab instance. So that allows us to do our change tracking for our code. It also allows us to deploy things like CI/CD pipelines for us to validate our changes as they go through. Because one of the very obvious ones that happens is you add a new feature to a product you've been working on, and you roll it out and push it to prod.
Yeah.
And you've been testing that feature because obviously that's the thing you've been developing. But then you go back to prod and you realize there's been a regression, which is basically long and short for, I made a change that actually broke the whole thing.
Yes.
And that's where you would want something like a decent CI/CD pipeline set up to go and do that regression testing. So as you go along and you add a new feature, it automatically goes and validates everything that was there is still there and still working as expected.
Yeah.
So an important lesson that we've obviously learned over time is make sure that your pipelines are continually maintained along with your development cycles. Make sure that those tests are updated as you add new features to test those new features.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of DevOps is learned by doing.
Yeah.
It's try this, see what it does. Try this, see what it does.
Highly iterative, eh?
Very, very iterative. And iteration causes issues.
Yeah.
And
such a balance between delivering change and maintaining stability, maintaining
exactly.
And that's what we try and do in OCS as well. So we apply it in terms of how we run the platform. The principles are sound, but they're not necessarily always simple to enact and to execute on, and that takes quite a lot of discipline and a bit of openness for failure, and it's about restricting the impact of that
that blast radius. So
exactly.
one of the other important lesson is, and it's something that is very well established, but it's just as important to implement even on smaller projects, is the idea of multiple environments. So you've got your prod, and you should actually also have a UAT, even if it's a tiny project. If you think it's relatively inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, there should be a UAT against which you test, against which you have access. So that testing environment, the customer testing environment, or the user testing environment. And then obviously there's the development environment. They need to be separate, because you're making changes here, you're almost certainly going to break things in your developing. When you push it to UAT, that's when you need to validate everything before you push it to prod. Old school principle, but it actually should apply even when your applications start shrinking and start getting distributed. You still need to have that.
The principles hold true, right?
The principles hold true. And
so that's exactly it. Regardless of the size, the principles hold true. Apply the same discipline to your projects across the board, and don't push to prod on a Friday. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm going to say.
Never push your phone apart.
Rich, thanks so much.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching.